Imagine someone telling you that -3 or a negative number is impossible, and everyone was like, yes, you are correct, I agree with you. For me, I'll be like, what's happening here? What's going on? Or like, just that sound, I just be hearing crickets, 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 crickets. Like, what's happening here? Right? So remember that those times when we were in primary school, like I would say primary 3, primary 2, primary 3, and we're doing addition and subtraction, and they would tell us that, or our teachers would ask us, 3 minus 5, and we'll say, impossible. 2 minus 3, impossible. We'll shout that confidently because we thought that it was not possible, and I think they didn't tell us it was possible because maybe they didn't think we were ready to actually process that or get to that part basically of mathematics. And maybe it was good, maybe it was not for good. But I think teaching alone has to go step by step. But imagine those periods. But now you are saying, no, why would you think like that? I know that's what's going in our head now. Why you think that negative number? What school did you go to, right? But remember, I want to just take you back to your past when you thought that 3 minus 5 was impossible. So let's get into the conversation now. Zero changed the world, right? And if you remember, I made a video on the invention of zero where I spoke about how zero changed the world by bringing computers and the rest, right? Now, after the invention of zero, there came up another idea. They brought up another idea, and that was negative numbers. Numbers less than nothing. Wait, if I was then in that position or in that condition or in that situation, let's think about it. We just accepted that yes, we want to record nothing, but why do we need to record not something less than nothing? Wait, let's think about it then, or let's even think about it in a layman, the way they would have thought about it then. Would there be anything lesser than nothing? Because they saw zero as nothing, right? Though we look at it at a very different point a bit these days, but they saw zero as nothing. So could there be something that could be lesser than nothing? Nothing is nothing for them, basically, right? And they actually refused to accept the idea of negative numbers for centuries, basically, because they thought it was nonsense. Like, what are you saying? Are you going mad, or what's happening, right? So I think that was what made them to believe that no, we won't accept this. The others have spoken, bam, and that was it. So picture this: in ancient China, India, or even Africa or Nigeria, right? You're a merchant or a businessman, and you keep accounts of your daily activities, financial daily activities, and you can count what you have. You can even measure what you've gained as your profit, right? But how do you calculate, or how do you measure what you owe? Because remember, you're a merchant, you should be owing people. How do you do that? So when they try to subtract more than they have, right, they would end up finding out that their math is no longer mathing, and you just be saying, this is impossible, right? This is not possible. And they may even start thinking, what am I even doing? Maybe the math is wrong, I'm not doing it wrong, I'm not doing it well or so, right? But yet life will keep throwing situations at them. Life kept throwing situations at them then, where they had to see that yes, negatives were really necessary. Negatives actually mattered, because the farmers were low seeds, right? How would they want to actually calculate that? Even the merchants were borrowing money from either their friends, their family, or even the loan people that were the loan companies then, right? They were doing all of those things. Engineers needed direction, and the mathematicians, remember, they just discovered zero, and automatically many mathematicians want to start exploring different theories and everything. They would start seeing the importance, or even the invention basically of negatives when they will be coming out in their equations and everything, right? So some at that particular point, some of them felt that no, this is not possible. Some did not even write it down, but slowly they started seeing that what was impossible. Not they started seeing what was impossible, because we can see it these days that is accepted now. So slowly what was impossible became what necessary. After negative numbers started showing us that, you are needed in your life, and we're creeping into mundane things in our lives, right? Mathematicians eventually discovered or realized that negatives were actually important in recording losses, debts, or even opposite directions, right? They were actually very important, and that they were not imaginary, because they were just a different way of thinking. It was just a shift in our thinking, and that shift in our thinking actually changed everything, because the invention or the acceptance of negative numbers actually allowed algebra to be calculated better. Even equations could have more and better solutions. Even our merchants, remember that question that I asked, where how would a merchant actually calculate what they owe? Negative numbers could help their finances actually get better, or help their finances be calculated better actually. And all of this happened just because we humans decided to accept that there was a number lesser than 0. Think about it. For thousands of years, a simple idea like -3 was unthinkable. We take it for granted today, but think about it, that a simple idea like that was stretching the minds of our ancestors. Just even for them to even imagine it, it actually had to stretch their minds, basically. While reflecting, you will discover that negative numbers teaches us something bigger, and what it teaches us is that the ideas that we resist the most are the ones that unlock everything else. 0 was nothing, negative numbers were impossible, right? And yet these two changed the world. And this is making me think that what is that simple idea that we are missing just because we feel that it is impossible? I hope you learned something today. I'm Esther Yola. See you in my next video. Bye.